Hey everybody, welcome to the Choochin podcast. This is episode number 1. If you want, you guys can go follow my Twitter at PodGod69. Go to Spotify and subscribe to Choochin on Spotify. Go to YouTube, look up Choochin. We're going to be posting the episodes there as well. Subscribe to the YouTube. Today, for our first episode, we have a brother of mine. We have a very special guest, a guy who's very near and dear to my heart, former teammate of mine when I played college baseball for a hot second, a future Umpy Owl Hall of Famer, Frank Nunez. Frank, how we choochin'?
Yo, Smith, what's good, my man? How we choochin' today?
We are chooching big time.
Oh, thank you for the kind words, my guy. If anybody ever wants to check me out, look at the Division I Dumpy Owls roster. You'll see me there. All-time leader.
All-time leader.
Holy cow.
Dude, that's incredible.
Great times.
How long have we known each other now?
Oh, Smith, I think we're going on 7 years now.
Is it 7 already?
I think it's going to be 7, yeah. Holy cow, actually. It's making
Isn't that crazy? Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, I like to think of myself as still kind of young, but...
Oh, man. We were young 7 years ago.
That's a fact.
Man, 7 years. It's crazy how time can go by like that, where you meet somebody and then, you know, it's like a cliche because when you're a kid, everyone always tells you how fast shit goes. And you're like, yeah, okay. Yeah, like these old people don't know what they're talking about. And then you take a second and realize that, 7 years has gone by and it feels like, what, maybe a year?
Maybe, man. No, that's exactly right. Like, literally, you hear that the whole time growing up. Time goes so slow. But then, like, you just get to an age and time just starts rolling. Like, yeah, it literally feels like yesterday we met.
And it feels like we're hitting the gas on it, too. Like, it's not getting any slower.
It's speeding up.
It's speeding up, dude. We're getting old, man.
Oh, yeah.
That's incredible. So we met in history class, right, at Umpy?
Yeah, biggest
like
mistake
day 1, fall of 2014.
Let me just hit everybody who's listening up with this story.
Hit them.
Some people say this was the biggest mistake of my life. I walk into class, last one in there. There's 2 open
you were
seats.
late to the first day of class. Jeez.
Yeah, it's a tough life,
You're a bad boy, Frank.
That's just how it is, College athlete, you gotta be showing out. I walk in there. There's literally 2 open seats. All right. There's this one tapped out girl, and I'm thinking about it myself, Then I look over and then I see this guy just sitting there. He looks kind of like a boy, so I'm like, F it. I was like, first day, I was like, I'll go make a friend. I was like, I'll talk to this guy. Sit down there, holy cow. And then he tells me he's a Lions fan.
I remember. Okay, so for everybody listening, if you're trying to imagine what this looks like, Frank walked into the class 5 minutes late. It's day 1. We're getting our syllabuses. We're sitting in class, and this guy walks in, and this guy is head to toe purple and gold, wearing Vikings merch, backwards purple and gold hat on, literally head to toe merch. You would think he was a locker room guy for the Vikings. He's picking up the jock straps out of the locker room once the team comes out.
Take it easy on me, man.
Head to toe Vikings gear, just the brightest colors in the room. Everyone else is wearing gray. Everyone else is like wearing gray and blue jeans.
All I'm saying is Adrian Peterson jersey first day, pre-child abuse, naturally.
Pre-allegation.
Allegedly.
Dude, you were fluorescent with that stuff on.
All right.
You came in, you saw 2 empty seats. One of them was with some, Umpy's finest. And then you saw me sitting and you decided to sit with me.
Like I said, biggest mistake of my life.
No, I see that for sure.
Great times though. I mean,
Yeah. You didn't know what you were getting yourself into, is what you were saying. You had no idea the path you were putting yourself down.
This trajectory, some would say.
You think if you chose that other seat, we still would have been friends?
I have no idea. I mean,
that's a pretty big what if. I've never thought about that.
I really haven't given it much thought myself,
because I don't think I would have approached you. You were a pretty intimidating guy back then.
Yeah, some say I was in a pretty.
You were tan too. You were rolling in dark.
Oh, I was dark. I was working. Well, that's just because I was working a summer job.
Yeah, but I mean, everyone was fluorescent Caucasian in the room. I mean, you are intimidating dark.
That's true.
I put my hands in my pockets when you sat down beside him to make sure you already hadn't taken something out of my pockets.
Yeah, I mean, to this day, I still have that pen too. You didn't even know he lost it. No, that's true. That was not very.
No, it wasn't. And then, you remember what we talked about?
No.
I think we said something when you first sat down. Now that I think about it.
Oh no! Like I said,
yeah, because I probably confronted you. I was probably trying to flex on your Vikings gear.
You're trying to flex on me with the Detroit Lions. I'll tell you, it hasn't aged well.
It's never aged well. You go back to any point in time, it hasn't aged well.
It's just not going.
We're still going to get a Super Bowl before you, though. So how crazy is that?
Let me let everybody else in on a little secret. Since I don't know, maybe a couple years back, me and Smith, we have a bet going on. If the Vikings win the Super Bowl before the Lions, Tim is going to get my signature tattooed on his bicep. If the Lions, which we all know this won't happen, but if they win the Super Bowl before the Vikings, I'm getting his signature tattooed on my butt cheek.
That's a bet that never expires, and I don't think it's a bet that may ever come to fruition.
The way it's going, I love the Vikings.
Dude, I thought this was the Lions' year pre-COVID.
Yeah, I know, that's what I'm saying. Before the Rona struck, I was going heavy with the Vikings as a probably
even after losing homeboy, the wideout.
Yeah, Diggs. I mean, he's a stud, but Vikings had a great draft, and you can't sleep on Thielen. I'll argue with anybody. Thielen's one of the top
Vikings got Diggs' replacement in the first round this year, didn't they? They got. Do you remember his name? Thaddeus? No, Thaddeus Young was a tight end from LSU.
It was.
I can't remember. It was a wide receiver for sure.
Yeah, we got two in the first. We took
Jefferson. That's who it was. He's from LSU, right?
Yeah, and then.
Yeah. I just had the name mixed.
Yeah, it was LSU. Yeah, we got and then on the defensive side, we needed a corner. I said we needed a cornerback, and that's exactly the other guy we picked up in the first round. We got Jeff.
Oh yeah, someone traded out in there too,
good pickups,
and gave the Vikings a pick.
Yeah, Vikings are looking stacked for this year, but
I think they're going to play.
Oh, but that's what they're saying. They're saying.
I mean, if the other leagues are going to play, and you give them a couple, the season won't start for a couple more months anyway. I think they're going to have precautions in place. They're going to play with no crowd or no support staff on the sidelines. They're going to figure it out. They're not going to miss a whole season.
I'd say it's unlikely. I mean, I don't know, but times are crazy right now. It's hard to say. I think it's unlikely we'll go a year.
Yeah,
without football,
I think college is going to get scrapped though.
Yeah, I mean, it's not looking. It's hard to say. It's not looking good for college sports in general. I would say,
which is weird because from what we know about COVID, it seems like, and I'm not an expert. I'm basically talking out of my ass, but it seems like the younger you are,
Let me
the
say
less at
this.
risk you are.
Let me say this, Smith. You're like almost an expert. You showed up to about 2
Don't put
science
that on me.
classes
Don't
all
put
of your
that out
college
there.
career.
I am not an expert, folks. I went to school for a science major, and I didn't attend the science classes. Figure that out.
So I mean, I'm I'm just gonna go out on a limb here and say that you're
I'm a,
probably an expert. But
I'm
that
a virologist when you think about it. I have my
that's
PhD
what I'm
at the
saying.
School of Hard Knocks in virology.
Uh, but yeah, no, like you're saying, yeah, it's it seems, and I'm certainly no expert, but it does seem that it's not really affecting the younger population unless they have severely underlying health
Yeah,
conditions in place.
which I think is
So
even then
it's
it's
kind of
super
weird.
rare.
I
Like
think,
if you have an immune deficiency, you probably know. But I guess there is some people who legitimately don't know, and they wouldn't know until they got this. And once they got this with an immune deficiency, it would be, big trouble.
yeah, I'd say it's like extremely unlikely, but you
And then
never
the
really know, I
university
guess.
would be at fault for, a potential death at the expense of, trying to have a sports season. It seems like a big risk on their part.
A huge
Mm.
risk, huge liability issue. It's going to be there. I mean, there's people out there working on trying to come up with plans here, but we'll see how it
Yeah,
works
I
out.
mean, I would love, to bring sports back. Interrupting
I mean,
sports really breaks my heart, man. I live and die to watch sports and attempt to play them at times.
yeah, you have. Yeah, I mean, you have no idea. Like that's all. Man, my summer consists. Even still, like all I do in the summers is just try to play baseball. The league I'm playing in currently, border got shut down, so I couldn't even go over to Canada to play this
Oh,
year.
yeah. By the way, for
So
the
it's been
folks listening at
heartbreaking.
home, we're both from Maine. I'm from southern Maine, and Frank is from northern Maine, and we both went to school at the University of Maine at Presque Isle, which is up in the very top right of Maine. It's very close to the Canadian border.
I believe it's the furthest north in the continual United States NCAA school
Yeah, because
for
Fort
anyone who
Kent
wants
doesn't qualify, right?
to
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, so when Frank's talking about the border being closed, it's because Presque Isle is, 10 minutes from the Canadian border, and Canada has a pretty big amateur ring of baseball.
Yeah, we're so super close. I'm pretty much Canada. Like most people when they think of Maine, they're thinking where Tim's from.
Yeah,
Definitely not where
when
I'm
when people
from.
think of Maine, they
This
think
is
of the coast. They think of small little mini Boston cities, which is where I'm from, and where Frank is from is, a town of 7 people and there's 8 tractors, and people come to school on horses.
everyone's
Everyone's
related.
related,
Literally,
and
there's no
they
it's
are
like
thriving in the dating community. I'll just say that.
have have no worries. We have one building with running
Yeah,
water. Township.
everyone comes there every day and fills up their buckets of water for the day.
That's what you got
It's
to
tough
do.
times.
But yeah,
And when
yeah,
it's January, you got to
it's
run home with that bucket, because when it's negative 45 out, that water freezes quick.
uh yeah, I'm. He's not kidding. You guys don't want to be here during the winter time. We're
And
we're hitting sub
unless you
zero
just love
regularly.
suffering, if you're a masochist, you would love northern Maine in January.
True. If you hate
If you
yourself,
hate yourself and
you'd
you
love
hate
it
your
up here.
family,
That's a
move
fact.
to northern Maine. Just pack it up, sell all your
That's
belongings, and move to northern Maine.
it's pretty much like settling the old
It's the
west,
last
man.
frontier.
Like literally, gotta come back out here on horseback. No electricity, no cars, no water. It is what it is.
For
Life's what
people
you
who have
make of
gone
it.
camping, and people, if you live in a real urban area and you've never gone camping, just imagine like a movie about a colonist early America, that's still what Northern Maine is like. You have to churn your own butter. Women are all in bonnets for no reason. And
Only
if you
dresses
come
too.
into town with a car, everyone has to gather around it because it's something they've never witnessed.
Oh shoot. It's probably the best
So
way
with
to
the border
describe it,
being
really.
closed, what does that mean for your baseball league?
Yeah, so the league I'm in, they're not playing. Most of the leagues, in New Brunswick, that's the province that I was playing out of. Most of the leagues in there are not running, or if they are running, it's not at full capacity. The city of Fredericton, they're a pretty big baseball city. I mean, they got a lot. They themselves have, I think, 4 different teams in different leagues, plus an intermediate league with 3 teams in it. And I think they're running a city league combined, just running of like one team from every league they have playing right now. That's what I believe. I don't have the most contact over there with what's going on, but that's the last I knew. I knew Quebec Senior League, which is a pretty competitive league up there. The Quebec one is running, though the teams that were in it from New Brunswick are not participating in that this year.
Because is there like a province crossing precaution or something like that?
The way I understand it is, yes, if they go over into Quebec, when they come back to New Brunswick, they have to quarantine for
Oh yeah, man.
14 days. And like I said, like it's competitive, but most of these guys are also working other jobs and can't really miss
Yeah,
out on that. Can't really sit
that's a
out for
lot for a baseball
14
league.
days. Yeah, so that
So
is
are you playing
that's what we're looking
baseball
at.
even with the border closed? Is there some type of thing that's getting together in Northern Maine?
Let me just say this. This is allegedly there's been some games running
Howard's
up
got
here.
back alley baseball games
You
going on.
know, yeah,
You guys are playing dice up
allegedly.
there.
I'd say our team right now is we're undefeated. We've got a couple games under our
Well,
belt,
two
undefeated,
and
2-0
zero,
right
ladies
now.
and gentlemen.
We're looking to make it 3-0 soon.
How many teams are playing?
We have 3 teams currently, and there's potential that a 4th team may be joining.
So you're 2-0. You go 3-0. You're
But
putting the whole league on notice.
that's right. I got to throw this out there. Right now I'm currently leading the league in hit by pitches. Just out there flexing how
That's a
tough
free
I am.
base. That's a free base.
That's a free bet. I'll take my free. In this last game, actually, it's funny because I got a brother. I got a brother who plays ball too. Tim knows him well too. Saul, his name's Saul. And if you ask Saul, Saul say that I'm always leaning into the inside pitch, trying to get my free base. And I was down in the count this last game, 0-2. I was behind the ball a little bit, and the pitcher comes inside on me. Let's just say I ended up getting hit. The ump came out there. Me and him had a good discussion about what it looks like when you lean over the plate.
And I can guarantee that Frank leaned almost to the other side of the batter's box to take that pitch.
I'm just gonna say this is what I'm gonna say as a baseball player. The pitcher, you got the plate. If you come into the batter's box, that's my zone. The batter's box is mine. You come in there, that's mine.
And sometimes it's
I'll
easier to wear it than it is to hit it, isn't it, buddy?
Hey, well, okay. Let me throw this out there. Our starting catcher, he got in a little accident with his side by side, broke his leg. So, me, the old man, if you will, of the team, I'm the one getting down there to squat and catch nowadays. And I think it's been 8
you're
years
catching
since
now?
I caught or not. Yeah, actually 9 years since I caught in an actual game up until that day. And let me just tell you, towards the end of the game, it was not easy to go take my swings.
Yeah, I know you have a lot of experience catching, but I mean, it's weird for you to come out publicly and stating you're doing that. I'm proud of you, buddy.
Oh,
he's gay, folks.
Oh, God,
he's gay.
That's tough. You can ask my 7 girlfriends what they think.
What an outrageous statement for a gay person to make.
Just showing how large my dog is, you know. If I was holding up a pinky,
that's right, and that's what women like. So, what's the weather up there like?
Well, let me just say this. The summers are not like the winters. They're about the exact opposite. We actually, Northern Maine, we hit the nation's high 3 days in a row.
What? When? This year?
Right now
it was the hottest anywhere in the United States. What? When was that?
When we were touching 90, I think 95 or 97. That was maybe a couple weeks ago.
Oh man, we just hit 90 here in Portland. For the first time in the whole summer.
I'll tell you, literally no one believes it, but Northern Maine summer is hot and the winters are freezing.
It is interesting. That place is up on an island up there.
Today was actually pretty good.
Yeah, I think down here was mid-60s. I don't know how you guys are getting all the weather up there.
You
guys are just that lucky.
We have to suffer.
You guys are lucky enough to get 100 in the summer and negative 50 in the winter.
Weird mix, I know.
It's also something I've always thought about Northern Maine, which doesn't make any sense. The more northern you get in Maine, and I think for most of the United States, actually, the closer you get to the Canadian border, the less people there are. There's some exceptions where there's big cities right on the border, like, Seattle and things like that. But for the most part, the closer you get to Canada, the less people there are. And that's especially true for Maine. But in Canada, the closer you get to the United States, the more people there are. So you would think, naturally, with people coming to and from over the border, that you would have, a decent population in Northern Maine because it touches Quebec and it also touches New Brunswick. So you go to Presque Isle, Maine, which is the biggest city in Aroostook County. There's 10,000 people there, which, for that area is huge. Huge.
Like the towns around it are like a few thousand.
Yeah,
like
a few thousand would be a big town. There's some towns up there that might be in the hundreds. But when you cross that Canadian border, there's cities of 20, 30, 40, 50,000 just over the border. And it seems like a strange situation to have where the American side is so small and the Canadian side is so big when it comes to the population. But they have relatively the same weather. Like, there's not a lot of factors that would keep somebody on one side or the other. I mean, you got the same weather. It's a 10-mile distance, but the population difference is so huge.
I think of like the town up here called Madawaska is a pretty small town, and I mean directly across the border from that is the city of Edmundston, which is like one of the I think it's either the biggest or second biggest one in New Brunswick, I believe.
Yeah.
So I mean, like, yeah, it's just great. Like, I mean, it's literally.
You can be in a town of hundreds, which might have a gas station and one grocery store, like a very, very small place. You go over the border and you have a huge, thriving city.
Yeah, no, it's wild, actually. Like, it literally doesn't make sense, but that's just how it is, I guess.
Man, summer's almost over.
Man,
summer's almost over. You're looking down the barrel at the winter in Northern Maine.
We literally get out of winter just to stare it down again. That's all I'm saying. Like, enjoy your 8 weeks of sun. That's all you're getting.
Man. And down here, it's been a weird summer. We've had, it hasn't really been that hot down here.
Has it been raining down there? We've
Recently,
been
yeah. I
so
mean,
dry up
it
here.
was real dry for a long time, and then the last 2-3 weeks, we've gotten rain every other day, which we've desperately needed.
Up here too. Up here too. It's super agricultural, so I mean, like, there's just a bunch
Yeah.
of farms, but it's been so dry. It's been brutal out here
Yeah,
this
this has
year.
been a real off year. I mean, with all the stuff happening, and then it seems weird. Even the weather seems like it's having an off year.
Yeah, I mean, 2020 is. I
We're
don't even know
just
how to
gonna have
say
to
it.
scrap it. Just fast forward to next year.
On, I saw something the other day, and I have to tend to agree. This guy said, this weekend, I'm gonna open up my front door, toss a few candy bars out, open up the oven, shove a turkey in there, and then put open up a present to myself at midnight. Crack open a bottle of champagne and
I
call it
love that.
2021.
I love
I'm
that.
down for that at this point. I think let's just make it happen
I'm
across
definitely
the board.
interested in that idea.
That'd be a super
That'd
weekend,
be
by
a
the way.
banging
Holy
weekend.
cow! Wouldn't be
I
a
mean,
sober second, and that's a
I mean,
fact.
if you really got nothing going on, you can kind of pull that off every weekend if you wanted to. I mean, if you look at your
I
calendar, you got
mean,
nothing going on. You might as well just have every holiday that you enjoy. Who's stopping you from that, huh?
what? Actually, why don't we do that? I
Just
should
make
be
a
doing
turkey
that, to
every
be
weekend.
honest.
Cook a 40-pound
Holy
butterball
cow!
every weekend.
That actually, the more the more I think about that, I don't know why I'm
And I
not
don't.
doing it.
What's it cost to buy a turkey outside of Thanksgiving?
I don't
Well,
even
it's
look,
weird.
man.
Is buying a turkey on
I
Thanksgiving, is it cheaper or more expensive?
can you even buy turkeys when it's not Thanksgiving? I don't even
You
know.
must, right? I actually don't know because I don't see them at the store, but you must be able to just go and buy a whole turkey, right?
Yeah,
You just
I'm
gotta
sure you can at
order
the
it on
deli, to be
Amazon.
honest. But like, I don't think does anybody do that? Like, have you ever seen somebody buy a turkey outside of Thanksgiving or Christmas?
A whole turkey?
Yeah,
Dude, I don't think so.
like this is an honest question to anybody listening, but do you guys ever buy turkeys outside
Yeah,
of that
hit
time
us
of
hit
year?
us up on Twitter, hit us up on YouTube, leave a comment and let us know if you're one of those people who are buying a whole turkey outside of the season.
And then let us know what's
Yeah,
wrong with you.
also comment with your diagnosis that your licensed physician is giving you. You're out of your mind. Could you imagine
Oh,
if you went to someone's house and they were like, "Oh, just finishing up cooking a turkey," and they just have what do turkeys weigh? 20, 30, 40 pounds. 40-pound turkey might actually be crazy.
I think a
Yeah,
40
let's
pound
call it
turkey's a
20.
little
But I
real.
mean, even you're cooking 20
Can
pounds of meat in the oven.
you imagine that? I mean, that's probably a fairly good sized turkey right there. But I mean, like, can you imagine doing that just over a random? Can you imagine doing that over a random weekday?
Yeah, for dinner
Picture
on
that.
Wednesday.
Yeah, can you?
Yeah, what are we having tonight? We're having a
You
whole
literally
turkey.
you have to be clinically insane at that point,
I think unless
right?
you have a huge family and it's not that expensive, it seems just like an insane thing to do. Because if we're gonna
Yeah, sure. I
rank
mean, some of these.
meat, if we're gonna rank poultry, turkey has got to be the bottom, right?
I mean, I don't know about that. I think. Well, no, duck's got to be the bottom, right?
Isn't I don't know. I've had duck only a couple times, but that seems it has like an exotic,
I
game meat type vibe to it.
it's like it's a greasy meat. It's just like I don't know. I don't know. I'm gonna go with duck at the bottom. I'm gonna say turkey's above duck.
Man, well, that's tough. If we're gonna go duck, turkey, chicken, I think the rest of poultry is probably too rare to even say. I gotta put duck. I gotta put duck number two. I mean, chicken's obviously king over all three of those.
Chicken's up there. Chicken's like that's not even a debate. Like I think everybody nationwide knows chicken's holding
I
it
think
down at the
chicken.
top.
I might be wrong, but I think chicken's the most bought meat of any meat in the United States.
Yeah, we got to get ourselves a producer who can fact check that for us,
I think
but that
that's
may
true.
be accurate.
But man, you think about it. I think turkey or duck's pretty rare outside of people who actually hunt for them. But
Yeah, I
turkey
don't
has
think.
got to be number 3. No one cooks turkey outside of Thanksgiving.
No, I gotta say, I'm still putting duck at the bottom. I'm going chicken, turkey, duck.
Oh, from 1 to bottom.
Yeah, chicken on top, turkey holding down number 2, and duck just dragging in the rear.
Yeah. I don't know. I could probably go for that. But it seems like November. What do you think it is? Do you think in November people just get so sick of turkey they can't stomach it for the rest of the year because they have to eat it in like 10 different ways for like a week?
I mean, so for my family at least, yeah, we're running 2 major turkey dinners: Thanksgiving,
Oh
Christmas,
man, you
right?
have turkey on
And
Christmas? Oof.
yeah, well, I mean, I got a decent sized family, so like typically we'll have a turkey and a ham
Oh,
roast
you guys are
on
balling.
Christmas. Yeah, well, I mean, there's a
Yeah.
lot of mouths to
Yeah,
feed,
but
you
you
know.
got options. That's bougie
So
stuff. You literally have an option of what you
yeah, I
want.
mean, you know, so yeah.
Wait,
Anyway,
wait, wait.
let's not get
So
into that.
that means you buy a turkey outside of the season. You buy a turkey in December.
Well, no, because I think no, yeah, I think we get a few, like get the 2
Oh, at
at the around
Thanksgiving
the
time, yeah.
Thanksgiving time. Like we might get that one like after Thanksgiving, but like
Yeah,
while
because
they're
the
like
day
on sale,
after
and
Thanksgiving,
then
they
just
just drop the
freeze them.
price to whatever anyone will pay to get them out of there.
Yeah, it's a phenomenal drop. So I mean, like that's when you're getting a lot of bang for your buck. But I mean, those are the 2 turkey meals that we like annually will have. So I mean, yeah, but you're not wrong. Like pretty much from Thanksgiving until Christmas, there's just like yeah, it's like turkey. You know, turkey's great on Thanksgiving, but then you get absolutely stuffed full of it. You don't even want to eat it, but then all you have is leftovers for the next few days. You know, still working through it, and then we at Christmas we'd get back to it. Another few
That's
days,
actually
almost into a
rough.
new
That's
year.
almost back to back.
I don't even. Yeah, it's pretty well is back to back. There's
That ham
not much
must
of a
go
break.
quick, huh?
I'm gonna say.
That ham goes quick.
If
Yeah,
you're
if
not
you're
quick
not
on the
first in
ham, you
line,
know
that
it's
ham's
gone.
gonna be gone. You're eating turkey.
Let's just say, yeah, you don't want you don't want to be at the back of the line.
Yeah, if
All
you're
you're
at the
getting
back of the
turkey.
line,
It's
you
a
get
fat.
first pick of what you want on the turkey.
Yeah, you choose white meat or dark
Oh
meat. It's
man,
that
the
easy.
poor bastard has to eat the white meat on a turkey.
That's truly the last person in line is getting the
Yeah, you're
dry
getting
white meat
like the
off the
top
turkey.
inch of the breast of the turkey.
And that's literally
There's
exclusively
there's no
what's
amount of
left.
liquid you can drink while you're trying to chew that makes it any better. It's like compressed beach sand. That is the worst. That is the worst thing to try to eat. It's just.
Yeah, and I don't care. I don't care what you say. Every turkey made
I
is
mean,
like
there's
that.
got to be people out there who are just so capable that can try to negate some of that dryness.
All right, let me not lie. My mother made one turkey one time that was actually fairly juicy the entire time. But I mean, she was soaking the thing for like three
Oh,
days
she
before
brined it
Thanksgiving. She primed it. She primed it
because
good. But I mean, like, is
I
that
don't know.
worth
I
it?
think
Like,
brine. I always thought brining it because brine, for people who don't know, is water and salt, and people put herbs and different things, lemons and shit in there, but it's salt water. So I mean, if you're submerging something in salt water, you're obviously introducing flavor, but you're introducing salt, which is gonna make it drier, right?
I I mean, I'm gonna the one time I've had it, it actually worked. It was not that dry. It was actually pretty good, pretty juicy the whole way through. So I mean, it was good results. I don't know. Me personally, not being the biggest chef, I'm gonna say like it's not worth my effort
Yeah,
doing
because
that.
that's a big space. Because you got to keep that refrigerated too.
Yeah. Well, I mean, up here
Yeah.
that's not
Oh
too hard.
yeah,
We set it
November. What am
outside in
I
the
saying?
freezers.
You come out and you got to put a lot of salt in that water to keep it from freezing when it's outdoors.
You gotta, we put it in the freezer and you gotta start a fire beside it to make sure it doesn't get too icy. Oh, but yeah, I mean, no, it actually did work. It was, but that was a special occasion. Typically, we're back
Does
to
she
that
normally
grind.
brine it, or was the brine just a one-off?
That was just a one time thing so far. Actually, that was last year,
Well,
so
let's see if we
we'll
can
see.
keep
We'll see if we
keep
go
the
back to it.
streak. See if we can go back to back on that mother.
Yeah, I mean, my votes keep it rolling, but I'm not the
Fuck, you
one
might as
making
well
it.
keep it
So
rolling. What are you gonna do? Go back to just putting it in the oven for 4 hours? I think that's gonna be
you
the
never
issue.
know.
If you could cook turkey quick enough, because I mean, when people get a turkey for Thanksgiving, I'd say 99% of everybody just roast in the oven. But I think because you got to cook it so long, because the thing's so big and you got to cook it all the way through. I mean, the outside parts are just getting brutalized. And then there is some people who fry it, and I've never had a turkey like fried, so I don't know if that's juicy or not. But
I've actually never
I
had
haven't
fried
either.
turkey either, but that that's actually that's some
Maybe
maybe
those people are
maybe
onto
we
something.
don't brine it this year.
Dude,
We
I got a
fry
buddy
it.
of mine, Nate. He'll be on the podcast eventually. So will Saul, Frank's brother. Um, well, hopefully. And Nate's, yeah,
If the
that's
wife
right.
will let him.
She's gonna crack the whip potentially. So Nate's family on
I'm just kidding. I
that's
love
right. I
my
love her too.
sister-in-law.
Nate's family on Thanksgiving, they don't do a turkey. They do a huge ribeye,
Well,
and I
now
think
that
they
sounds
deep
good.
fry it.
That could be
I
dangerous,
mean, I can't
actually.
even afford to buy a ribeye, an individual steak. They're buying like a 12-pound ribeye or something.
Now, this guy's got to be buying a whole cow for that,
I
right?
don't know. You're
You don't
paying
just
an
go
arm and a
buy
leg
that.
for that. But I mean, if you get invited over
Yeah.
there like I do for Thanksgiving, it's a sight to behold. I mean, it's basically like a 20-pound steak.
That's actually insane. Like that's literally insane. I've actually never
I
heard of
never heard
that,
of it
but
either.
I,
I always used to love that as a kid. You go over to your buddy's house, and especially if they're because here in Maine there isn't a big variety of culture. I mean, everyone's basically Irish, British, Scottish, um, English descent, and everyone kind of lives the same, eats the same, buys the same stuff. But if you can, as a kid, go over to a buddy's house, everyone does something differently. If you go over to a buddy's house for, even just a normal dinner, and you step out of what you get your mind blown, dude.
yeah, I mean, you're not wrong, man. Like I think it's got to be the same for everyone, right? Like that's literally, it's just how it is. When you go over to somebody else's place, like yeah, you're seeing stuff that you've never seen
And to
before.
them, it's so normal. I always thought that was the coolest thing. You go over to someone's house and just the little things that are different. Like I went over to a buddy's house one time when I was a kid, and his family didn't drink because we always just drank water. You get a cup, you turn on the faucet, you drink the water out of the faucet. Here in Maine, everyone has their own well. I mean, the water's really good. There's no like chlorine or anything. Like it's just fresh spring water. But I went over to a buddy's house when I was a kid, and his family would make iced tea. Like they would brew tea, they would put it in a thing, they would wait for it to cool down there, and then you pour it in your glass with ice, and that's what you would drink with dinner. And I was like, "What?
That's
What the?
crazy.
Like you guys don't drink water, and you're drinking this stuff, and it's sweet,
Savages.
and it's like this is incredible. You guys drink this for
You
dinner?
know, now did they sunbrew the tea?
What do you mean?
I mean, so up here, some people will like make like a sweet tea and literally just like set it on their porch to brew, and they call it sun brewing.
Oh, you mean you just soak the tea bags in the water?
Yeah, out in the sun.
What the hell? That's
Yeah, I don't know.
tough.
My family, not personally. It's actually pretty good though. I don't know what it's supposed to. The
Does it
benefits it's
taste
supposed to
like
be
it's
from doing it
brewed?
out in the sun. It's got a different taste. It's good. It's got a different taste though
Mm.
to it. I will say
Well,
that.
because when you heat it up, it does make that real, like brewed tea. You can always tell the difference between brewed tea and something made from powder because of that. Brewing the tea changes the taste. That's
Right.
interesting. I never heard of that.
But where I thought you were going with this story, and I was about to be like, "Yo, me too." I had a friend because like you were talking about the tap water, like that's all
Oh
we
yeah,
drink. We got our own well on our property, and it's good water. But we'd always go over to one of our friends' house, and like they had drinkable water out of their tap, but like they never would drink it. All they talking about the bougie lifestyle. These guys bottled water only,
that's a psycho
and
move.
like I always thought, no, like as a kid, I was like, whoa. I was like, these guys are living the
Oh yeah,
lifestyle. I
as
was
a
like,
kid,
bottled
as a
water. I was like, these
kid,
guys...
you think they're living large.
But look, yeah. Looking back, you're not wrong. Wait. I'm like, why? Like, it's insane looking back. But as a kid, that I was just like, holy cow! I was like, these guys are
Yeah, you
rolling in
get
it.
Poland Spring.
You got bottled water on deck. I mean, you finish a bottle of water and they have another. You don't even refill the bottle. They're just giving you a new bottle.
Yeah, as a kid, that
Insane.
I loved little stuff like that. I remember when I was a kid, I went over to this this buddy of mine's house. I think it was in first or second grade, and his family was into like anime and stuff. Which as a kid, everyone watches cartoons, but this was like like a different culture of cartoon. It was anime. It was like Japanese, like that like anime stuff. And when I was a kid, I didn't know what that was. I never even watched a movie in a different language. So we went over there and we watched this movie, and it was like super violent, and it was just so cool. It was like the coolest because at the time I was like big into Power Rangers and stuff in first grade. And Power Rangers, they hit each other,
Naturally.
and there's sparks and some random background explosion. Nothing really makes sense.
Always an explosion.
Yeah, they
That's what
punch
I
each
love
other,
about
and
Power
there's like a
Rangers.
building
Always
that
explosions.
explodes in the background. But I went over there and watched
uh,
that movie, and there in one of the scenes there was two guys fighting with swords, and one of the guys cuts the other guy's arm off, and there's blood, and his arm falls on the ground, and I was like, "What is going on? Like this doesn't happen. Like there's no blood in Power Rangers. Like what? Dude, when I got home, that Power Ranger shit was done. I was like, this show's fucking stupid. It's for kids. Like this is like some dumb shit. Like oh, they hit each other with a sword, and all that happens is sparks come off their body. What is it? What is it? What is that? I want to see a guy get cut in half. And my mom is like, "What the fuck's the matter with you? You're 6 years old. You're not even supposed to know blood comes out of a person. What's the matter with you?" And without saying, I was never allowed to go back there again.
naturally, that would
But I
instantly
remember
be
that
a
was
no
such a big
go.
culture shock. I was like, man, I didn't even know this was out there. And it was in Japanese. I'd never
I
even
think
heard Japanese before.
yeah, no, that's like a rite of passage is that you literally discover stuff like that at somebody else's house. Like I don't think there's people who do that at their own house.
No, because I mean,
Like
everything you're brought up on, you're just so used to that's just the way stuff is. I mean, like, if he was to come to my house and watch Power Rangers, I'm sure he would have the same reaction. Be like, what? This guy hit this guy with a sword, and a fucking car in the background exploded. Like, this is insane. I mean, this guy's fighting this guy and he can't beat him, and all of a sudden he's got these robotic cars turning into a bigger robot. Like, what is going on?
no, I mean, yeah, you're not wrong. That's just how it is. And yeah, I think everyone's got that story. The first time they go over to somebody else's house, and that's when they get like I remember we went over to our cousin's house, and I don't know, we must have only been maybe 10. And his mom was like, "Yeah, I'm going to bed." She's like, "Yes." She's like, "You guys can just like buy a movie off of like DirecTV or whatever it was." And like, yeah, and we're like, "Wait, we'll pull up like some rated R movie." So like blood, violence, like the first time, it was mind blowing. Like you just don't forget stuff like that. It's just like insane.
Yeah, do you remember the first? Well, obviously for you, that was the first rated R movie you'd ever seen, right? How old were you?
Probably about 10, I'd say. I was I was a little late to the
I
party, I'll
remember
say.
the first R-rated movie I ever watched was Texas Chainsaw Massacre. The not the original one, but the remake in the early 2000s. I was a real young kid, and my dad had rented it from a movie rental place, and he brought it home, and he was gonna watch it. And my mom was like, "What are you doing? We can't watch this. Like the kids have to." What are we gonna like send the kids to bed and then watch this movie? Like it's gonna be loud and scary and shit. And so my dad sat me and my two brothers. I have a younger and older brother. He sat the three of us down. He said, "Listen, I got this movie and it's gonna be really scary. And if you guys want to watch it, I'll let you. But here's the deal: when the movie's over, you got to go outside and in the dark run around the house 3 times." And we were like, "Yeah, no, yeah, definitely. We want to see an R-rated movie. Who gives a shit? Like, oh, this is going to be scary. What, like the bad guys in Power Rangers? Like, bring it on. What is it going to be? Like the fucking, the lizard guy from Power Rangers? Who gives a shit?" So we're watching this movie, and there's a guy with a mask on made of other human skin with a chainsaw chasing people. And when he catches them, he turns the chainsaw on and cuts them in half. I think it was in third grade. It was in third grade, and I was seeing he grabbed a guy and put him on a meat hook suspended from the ceiling, and the guy's hanging, his feet aren't touching the floor, and he's suspended from a meat hook. I mean, there's another scene where a guy steps in a bear trap. It's like, dude, it was fucking brutal. I had no idea what I was getting myself into. And then the movie's over. I don't even think the people win. I mean, the movie starts out with a group of, I think, like 6 college age kids. And this guy kills all of them except for, I think, one girl. And I'm not even sure if she gets away in the end. I can't remember. So the movie's over, credits roll. My dad's got a fucking ear to ear grin. My dad goes, "All right, movie was over." And we were so traumatized. We had forgotten about the deal. Yeah, we were so traumatized. We had forgotten the deal that we had made. We had to go out in the dark and run around the house. So my dad is like, "All right, guys, you ready to go outside?" And we're like, "Go outside." I don't think I'm going to go outside tomorrow when the fucking sun is out. Like, I'm never going outside again. I'm gonna go lock my door. I'm done. I'm a recluse. I
Lights
don't even
on.
want to. Yeah,
Lights
lights
on.
on forever. Like, I'm going to sleep with under the light. I'm gonna turn. I'm gonna turn a flashlight on and point in my face so everything's just permanently bright. And so he goes. He goes. Nope.
And that's
No
a
one's going to
fact.
sleep until you guys do your 3 laps around the house. So we go outside, and my
Oh,
dad.
that's
My
brutal.
dad
That's
naturally
brutal.
just being just the asshole he is. We go outside, and obviously we're crying and we're begging our mom to let us to come inside. And she's like, "Nope, that's the deal you made.
That's
You made a
brutal,
deal. You
man.
have to do it." And then
Oh,
my dad's like,
hey, good for them. Make you stick
"Yeah."
to your
I mean,
word,
it
though.
was it was brutal. I mean, I was probably crying. You know,
That yeah, that is tough. I mean,
I was crying
that is
probably
tough.
top 5 hardest I've ever cried in my life. I was just putting it on. I was stewing, crying, saying, begging, pleading, trying to make deals. Like nothing was working. And he was like, "Nope, no one's coming in." He's like, "I'm going to close the door and I'm going to lock it and I'm going to watch out the window. When you do 3 laps, I'll unlock the door again." My fucking dad at like
Oh my,
11
that.
o'clock on a school night locked me outside and told me he wouldn't let me in until we did 3 laps. So me and my two brothers, we try to calm ourselves down because we're all crying and we got to run laps. So we're like, "Okay, shit, let's do it. We can do it. It's not that bad. The house isn't that big. Like if we just run really fast, it's not going to be that bad." And so we're standing on the porch,
Oh
which
man.
has a light, and the light's on. So we're like, "Okay, we're standing in the light now, so we're not going to get murdered." But when we go around the corner of the house, it's going to be pitch dark. And we didn't think about that at the time. So we start running. We run off the porch, run around the corner of the house, pitch dark. There's no moon out. It is as dark gets. And we lived real close to the edge of the woods. So our house was kind of tucked into the woods. So there's, a lot of trees in our backyard. And, if there's any light to begin with, which there wasn't, the light under those trees, you're talking, negative in brightness. So we go around the corner of their house. It's just panic. And then when you panic, you start running. And when you start running, you start hearing stuff behind you, but that's just your own feet because you're running with your head down. And it's a summer,
factual.
I think it was spring or summer. That must have been spring because we had school the next day. So we're hearing the peepers. We're hearing bugs. We're hearing stuff moving around. We're just in a panic. So we do one lap. We come around the house. We see the light again. Okay, one lap. We go around the house. We get around behind the house, and we're like, just, because we're not, three lined up. We're kind of staggered. So we're hearing the people behind us. We're all huffing and puffing. We're
You're all scared.
terrified.
You're just
Come around,
working for that. You try
doing
to get
anything we
inside,
can to get these laps over. We come around for the second time. We see the porch light. Oh, okay. All we have to do is do one more rotation of the house. We've only been outside for like 30 seconds. We are running as fast as our feet will carry us, but it's felt like a lifetime. We're just in a panic. We're hyperventilating. Half of it's because we're fat kids trying to run around our house. The other half is just being mortified. And when we go to do the third rotation around our house, our dad, after the second lap, had opened the back door, stepped out, and closed the door behind him. He's standing there in the pitch dark. When we come around for our third lap, we get around the edge of the house, and our fucking dad starts screaming and running straight at us.
What a
psycho.
Savage, man.
This guy's a psycho.
That is insane.
So we come around for the third lap. We're like, we're done. Like, the panic has got to be coming down at this point because we can see the end. Like, we're almost done. We come around the corner, and like I said, it was so dark we couldn't see that it was our dad. We just saw something moving, coming towards us, and then starting to scream. And like in a horror movie, none of us run around just to the back of back around the house to the porch. We just split up. My older brother James runs out into the bog behind our house. Paul, my younger brother Paul, starts just running 180 away from my dad. And I can't remember. I think I ran out and around the corner of their house and then to the road, and I was going to start flagging down cars for help. We thought we were in the movie. We thought this guy was going to kill us. We're going to get put up on meat hooks. We're going to end up in a jar pickled. I mean, it's over. Life is done. We're in third grade. Like, this is the end of the line. I think we were yelling for our dad. Like, we thought our dad was going to come out and beat this guy up. We was so discombobulated. And I think, like I said, it felt like a lifetime, but it was probably only a course of, 2 minutes tops. And, I was out by the road or in our driveway heading towards the road, and I could hear my dad laughing. And I think it took me a couple seconds to realize that it was him and not, Texas Chainsaw. And so I think he corralled us back up, and we went inside and probably didn't go to sleep. I probably wet the bed hard that night. I probably pissed a gallon of piss in my bed that night.
Literally not once, but twice.
Oh yeah, I had back to backs. Because sometimes, I was a big bedwetter when I was a kid. So you start to piss, and sometimes if you're not that deep into sleep, you'll piss a little bit and then wake up. You ever pissed a bed?
I mean, when I was very young, I really wasn't.
You weren't a big bedwetter?
No, I think there was one time, and there's only one time I think that I was even old enough to remember that I actually did it. And I think it was because the day before one of my brothers had wet the bed. And then I just thought it was like okay to do, but then my mom, let me just say, she straightened that out in a
Yeah,
hurry after I did that.
parents don't like getting woken up in the middle of the night by a kid covered in piss.
Man, that's a
I
no
had
go for
nights
them.
where,
My mom,
if you're not that deep into sleep, and for all the people listening who are bedwetters like myself, you know exactly what I mean. You piss a little bit and you wake up and you have like a small dark spot on your bed where you had pissed, but you had woken up. And I'd had nights, I must have had nights, I can't think of any off the top of my head, but I know this for sure has happened. You piss, you wake up, then you start to cry because you're embarrassed, and then you cry a little harder because now you know you have to go talk to your parents, and your parents are sleeping, and your parents have fucking jobs, and now they're sleeping, and my mom would jump every time I woke her up because it was like, what's that movie, The Omen, where that little kid's like the devil? I'd be standing at my mom's bedside in the pitch dark, and I'd tug on her arm, and it would take a couple tugs, and then she would look, see me, and then immediately scream and jump in bed. And then, so automatically, she's in a terrible mood. She has to get up in a couple hours to go to this job she hates, and she has her kid covered in piss, tugging at her arm in the middle of the night. She wakes up, she thinks she's in Texas Chainsaw, and that some fucking midget version is standing at the foot of her bed. So I'd wake her up and be like,
that's
"Mom,
insane.
I pissed a bit. Or I peed my pants." And so my mom would like have to change my sheets. And it's like, like if you wake up in the middle of the night, if you're awake for like a minute, you can, snap right back into sleep. If you're up for a couple
Oh yeah.
minutes, you now have to go back to, like, you have to go back to sleep.
I mean, as a semi-professional sleeper myself, and you can ask my,
Yeah,
we
I have
room
some
together for a
experience
while.
sleeping
I'm the
myself.
kind of guy. I'm the kind of guy who can, I can get up, I can do something, and I can just go right back to bed. But that is
Yeah.
not the average. You're not wrong. Most people, you get them out of
Yeah, if
bed,
you have
and
to
they're not
stand up
going
and
back
walk,
down.
I think for a lot of people, your night is fucked if you have to walk around in the middle of the night. So I mean,
Yeah,
I'm standing
that's
at the edge of my bed. I'm waking my mom up. She's fucking pissed. My dad's half awake now because my mom's screaming in bed. So I'm embarrassed. I think I'm in trouble. And then obviously I already feel like I'm in trouble because I pissed the bed.
I mean, your sheets were in
Oh, my
trouble. Let's
sheets
say
were
that.
big. My sheets must have been in a in just such a bind. They're like, fuck, every night this fucking kid. So I know I definitely pissed the bed, once a night, and I'm sure I must have done it twice. You piss, like I said, you piss a little bit, you wake up, and then you gotta cop to it. You gotta be like, "Mom, I pissed the bed," and then you change your sheets. And dude, if you go back to bed and you piss big time the second time, there's no replacement sheet. I mean, uh, as it is, as a bachelor myself, I have one sheet. I have one sheet. As a kid, I'm sure my mom had two sheets for my bed. You piss both those sheets, there's no laundry getting done at 3 a.m. You're you're going
Your
back to
night's
bed. You
over.
might get a new dry pair of underwear, but if you pissed on that blanket and you pissed on those sheets, you're laying in that piss all fucking night. There's no rescue team coming to get you out of that wet fucking bed. And covered in piss,
That's it.
smelling
It's
like a
over.
trash can. I'm not crawling into bed with my mom and my dad. You're on your own. You're going back to your piss bed and you're gonna lay in there like an animal until the sun rises. You're fucking on your own, bud.
Oh man. Oh, it's it, just thinking about stuff like that makes me glad that I personally was not a bedwetter.
Oh man.
Man,
I
that's
miss
tough.
sweating the bed. I think I'm gonna bring it back.
I mean, admittedly, that's got to be easier than getting up and walking to the bathroom. To be honest,
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing worse than stumbling down the hallway trying to get to the bathroom. I mean, that's like absolutely the worst.
Yeah. I think I'm gonna try pissing the bed tonight, see what happens. Well, Frank,
I'd do
we
it.
we did an
Your
hour,
roommates would
buddy.
love it. Holy cow, man!
We just
It's
did an
already,
hour.
dude, it's already been an hour.
So
It's just
anything?
how we're chooching.
That's right. We are Choochin. We getting the ball rolling on the Chooch, and we are cheeching. Anything you want to plug? Anything? Any of your social media or anything?
I'm just gonna say my social media will be being plugged next
All
episode.
right. We'll look forward to it. So again, folks, we're going to be on Spotify. We're on Google. Google, Jesus. We're on Apple Podcasts. We're on anywhere you can find a podcast. I think we're going to be published. You follow me on Twitter at PodGod69. Go to YouTube. Subscribe to the YouTube. Go to Spotify. Follow us on Spotify. Leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. And we're going to be putting out episodes every week. So thanks for listening, and we'll see how you're chooching next week. All right, see you, folks.